How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews back with wax. With the wax. You know what's going to be good. Yeah, a little bit of Mikerphone up in this piece. Did a couple microphones, mostly from the same person. My boy Charles, or Chuck. Either way. He sent me off a bunch of beers for myself and Beer Tube Palooza, and this is one of them. This is Mikerphone's Barrel Aged Imperial. Smells like birthday suit spirit. Okay, this is an Imperial Stout aged in Heaven Hill barrels. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm pumped for this one. I've had 14.81, not 14.8, not 415, not 15 and a half, 14.81. I'm pumped for this for a couple different reasons. I had some Mikerphone beers. I think all, if not a majority of them, have come from Chuck, and I dig the. I've dug what I've had, let's put it away. Some hits, some misses. Their barrel aged stuff has typically been pretty spot on, pretty fantastic. But something about this one, I don't know. Maybe it's the black on gold, because black on gold always means, like, fantastic. I mean, it is. Black on gold, come on now. It's my favorite color combo. I should be wearing a black on gold shirt right now. And, yeah, drinking it myself. And I love that the cap is all kinds of a little bit funky, a little bit scuzzy, a little bit meh. So we'll see what we have going on here. Mean mug and motor oil up in this piece. That's sucker ass. Now, label wise, you know, Nirvana smells like Teen Spirit. You have that baby going in a pool with his little wiener. It's basically like a chalk outline if that baby got murdered in the pool. With a little top hat on. And just honestly, a lot of black on gold with a bit of gray going on. You know, you're talking about someone that digs on that minimalism. So, I love the label. I love this kind of matte black kind of bottle going on. So, we're off to a good start. Beer-wise, I mean, it looks the part of a big old barrel-aged monstrosity of a stout. I mean, it poured motor oil black, not much of a head on it, and I tossed that sucker in there like hard with like 5 R's and like maybe 6 A's. I don't know. And if you give it a whirl, it really doesn't generate much of a head. What head is there is like dark as dark could be, and just a big, huge burly beer. Let's see if we can get a nose. I'm not gonna lie to you, it smells really good. The bourbon is explosive. There's this huge marshmallow component to this. What do they talk about? Like, so it smells like birthday suit spirit. I don't know what birthday suit means. I guess it smells like Teen Spirit is birthday suit. I don't know. But you're talking about Imperial Stout. They just say Imperial Stout Heaven Hill barrels. So we're going to take it at face value here. Assuming that it's just a big burly stout aged in barrels. That's all the information I have. And if that's the case, then this smells absolutely fantastic because you're getting a big roasty toasty stout on here. Big, like, chocolate malts, big roasted malts, and, like, multiple levels of chocolate on that. Now, on the other side of things, you're getting a big spirit component. You're getting a big bourbon component. You're getting a lot of, like, barrel and coconut, vanilla, all that kind of stuff going on. But it meets somewhere in the middle to where you get this kind of, that coconut and that kind of little bit of cocoa, kind of chocolate, kind of in the beer itself kind of merge together and give you a little marshmallow vibes. Maybe. Probably more barrel than anything else, but I like to think that's the way it's going. And it really is pretty aggressive, pretty robust. On the nose, you know it's a big beer. You know there's some heat to it, but I'm not going to sit here and say that it's like hot. It's big. Singeing the nostrils, if you will, a little bit, but I mean, 14% comes off pretty... aight, not just alright, aight on the nose. I mean, it smells like a big, huge barrel-aged stout. Let's dive in. Cheers. That's boozy. That's big. Man, that is aggressive in a really, really fun way. The first thing that jumps out to me on this beer, and at first I was kind of like thinking about it in like a new school kind of term, but I quickly like checked myself before I wrecked it, and it's not overly sweet. Listen, it's a 15% barrel-aged stout. It's a sweet beer. Perceptionally, how the beer actually comes off and how it's presenting itself, it's more like toasty and bittering and hot. It's a boozy beer. It's 15%. It's barrel-aged. No shit, Sherlock. But it's toasty and roasty and bittering more than anything else. It's not an overtly like sweet on sweet on sweet beer, which at first I was like, I could use a little more sweetness. I'm like, dude, how much do you just get sweet on sweet on sweet? That's where I think it's kind of like one of those things where it's like you get so used to so many breweries doing sweet on sweet on sweet that your palate starts to not correct but auto shift to that kind of level, and that's not what this beer is doing. So there's big roasted malt component here, huge big beer level beer stuff. I'm like, okay, no shit, Sherlock, it's beer. No. A lot of these big, huge barrel-aged, stouts, adjunct stouts, whatever you want to call them, end up being just like sweet sugar extractiness. You can tell there's a huge malt base here. A big combination of roasted malts and toasted malts, chocolate malts, all those things come together as a head. That Heaven Hill barrel is very, very big in here. Actually, let me rephrase that. The Heaven Hill Spirit is huge here. The barrel's big too, but the Spirit is the biggest portion of the show here. It comes off like it's hot. It's on fire to a certain extent to where it's showing its teeth and being the biggest thing in the beer, but I don't view it as being like too big or too over the top, because you're talking about a 15% barrel-aged stout. It's supposed to be big and over the top. And it brings with it, it's really nice, kind of like, almost like caramelized kind of bourbon-y kind of characteristic to it. If I'm going to classify it as anything, as somebody who's not like a big, like, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to bourbon kind of guy, it has this kind of, instead of like a cherry kind of classic bourbon, it's more of like a caramel covered kind of cherry kind of experience, which comes off really, really cool. And then you have the barrel portion of the show, which is exhibiting, and that's probably why it's giving me most of that kind of caramel color covered thing. It's giving me coconut, vanilla, marshmallow, the whole nine from the barrel itself. There's a nice kind of charry kind of smokiness from the barrel char in there. This is a hair on fire beer, like very, very aggressive, very, very much like not messing around. Like this is like mean mugging, like we're gonna fight kind of bourbon barrel aged beer, but in a very cool way. I like this quite a bit. The more I drink this beer, actually, the more I really like it, because it's one of those things where, like I mentioned towards the beginning, it's like you get so conditioned towards what everybody does nowadays, and it's not like you're sitting here saying, I just like what people make nowadays, but you like what you like, and you end up, digging what you dig, but you have so much kind of, iteration after iteration after iteration of the same kind of barrel-aged / pastry kind of stout, to where sometimes you end up becoming in sync with those kind of things. And to have something like this is extremely old school. Extremely. And by extremely old school, I mean like 10, 15 years. That is, to me, drinks like big stout, big barrel, dunzo conversation. You tell me there's coffee in here, fine, I get coffee notes. You tell me there's chocolate, fine, I get chocolate notes. But it tastes like everything in here is derived from a Core 4 Plus barrel. It kind of gets me hot and bothered. Plus, there's still a little bit of a wiener going on. So who doesn't want to have that in a beer? Label art by Nick and Alyssa Seguera. So give them props on the Chuck Line baby thing. But yeah, I actually think this is tasty AF. I kind of want to put more in there. Well, I shouldn't. And it's one of those beers where it reminds me of old school. Like I said, it's not like uber old school, but it reminds me of the J.W. Lees of the world. It reminds me of to a certain extent, like Bourbon County, OG, those kind of beers, to where it's like, it really is kind of tuning and testing itself on just a core 4+ barrel kind of thing. It's not exactly what I expect when it comes to Mikerphone. A good portion of the beers I've had have been like smells like bean spirit with coffee and this and that. Listen, all that stuff is in this beer. I know it is. I know there's coffee and those bits and pieces and all that kind of stuff going on because it's their bean spirit. Barrel age smells like birthday suit. Whatever. There's adjuncts going on here. It's not core 4 beer. But it drinks like that with the barrel. And that's where it kind of sings and becomes a beautiful kind of beer. And then it maybe it's so many ingredients that homogenizes itself to where it becomes something a bit more kind of, I don't know, beer versus barrel. I guess that's where I'm going with this beer. But anyway, it's tasty. It's probably the best beer I've had from these guys. And I'm very glad I got to try it. Thank you very much, Chuck, for sending this off. It's a very fun beer. And like I said, by far and away the best Mikerphone beer I've had. Like, hands down. Easily. Just because of that balance between the beer itself, whether it has adjuncts floating around or not, in the barrel. Very, very cool. Is this one of the better barrel-aged beers I've had as of late? Yes. Is it one of the best Mount Rushmore style, Mount Rushmore level ones? It's worthy, man. I should probably put it on there. I don't know why I'd keep it off. I don't know. But I dig it. Value and availability on this thing. I'm really curious. Anybody out there in the Mikerphone universe, let me know what's what. More specifically, my boy Charles. And leave you with, if you like what we like this beer. If you like big barrel-aged beers that are more beer than barrel, but the barrel is really gigantic and there's not a ton of overtly sweet, crazy adjuncts floating around in there. Like, again, I assume there's something going on in here, but it drinks like an old school soul when it comes to these barrel-aged beers, and that's a good thing. So if you dig that, you will dig this. And black and gold, too. Gotta love the black and gold. So, there you go. Reviewing the books. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Down there, if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, Beer Massif. If you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing, hopefully, you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully, enjoying a little bit of a Mikerphone right now. Hopefully, see you next time. Cheers.